little children, I'll take thee away into a land of enchantment. Come, little children, the time's come to play here in my garden of shadows. Follow, sweet children, I'll show thee the way through all the pain and the sorrows. Weep not, poor children, for life is this way, murdering beauty and passion. Hush now, dear children, it must be this way, to weary of life and deceptions. Rest now, my children, for soon we'll away into the calm and the Come, little children, I'll take thee away into a land of enchantment. Come, little children, the time's come to play here in...
Hi everyone, so today's video is my Hocus Pocus themed guinea pig cage and shed tour, and of course, even though it's Hocus Pocus is very Halloween and there's witches and pumpkins and things like that, so it's general Halloween and Hocus Pocus theme. So on the front of the shed we've got this sign and some beware tape. Going into the shed we've got a sign that says haunted house pointing that way, and that's the only thing that I've got on the back of the door. And then we'll go ahead and open the mesh door, and this is what the shed looks like. So here's a little bit of an overview of the shed. Now there's quite a few lights and things like that, so I'll definitely come back later on when it's got a little bit darker to show you what it all looks like in the dark. So let's start at the mesh door, and we'll go this way as usual, and I'll give you a cage tour when I get to each cage. So just on this side of the door we've got the drawers. The top drawer is health. Then we've got the second drawer, which is food, including fish food. We've also got their veggie buckets, bowls, and a little jar of treats. And the bottom drawer, as you know, my favourite drawer, is toys and some hidey houses and veggie plates. Just beside the drawers we've got a new heater. Actually, I get a lot of questions about heating the shed, and I'm going to be doing a video on that in November. So this is the heater I'm currently using, and I'll talk about that then. And underneath here I have nothing at the moment, but I usually keep my travel cage, and I've got a couple of stalls that I use as hidey houses. And then I've got my beware of the tortoise sign. The tortoise cage is here, they're not out at the moment. And then just this is their hide area, so I'll lift it up so you can see quickly. That's what it looks like. And we've got all my plugs and timers here, and this little Halloween light I thought looked nice here because it projects, and I'll show you that in the dark later, but you can kind of see it projects all these Halloween pictures on the walls of this area, which I really like. And then here's the trios cage. I still can't help but call them the trio, even though there were 3 sets of trios. Now, for those of you who don't follow me on Instagram, I'm currently in the middle of a bonding process between Pippin, Dolly, Teacup, and then Radish and Dotty, and it's going well, but at the moment Teacup and Pippin still are quite dominant when introduced in their cage, even when it's nice and clean and there's no items in the cage and so on. So it's a slow process, but I knew it would be because it was a slow process before with Pippin and Dolly, but fingers crossed they will be bonded soon. So like I was saying, on the front of their cage they have a Happy Halloween sign, and these are just the little gel clings, and this is what their cage looks like. They have messed it up a little bit. On this end of the cage we've got a corner dish. It's not pellet time, and as you can see they've kicked bedding into it. It's not pellet time yet, but it will be when I come back later in the dark. I thought I'd put this chew tree in because I thought it was quite spooky and Halloween themed. We've got a little cuddle sack down here. Again, if you don't follow me on Instagram, I've actually been trying to make some of these, and this is one of my first ones. The Pippin loves it actually, but I've made much better ones now. I've been practicing and practicing, so this was one of my first ones. Over here we've got a red jingly toy, and at the back, my favourite area in their cage, we've got a homemade witch hanging toy. We've got my homemade Wizard Week hat. That was one of my DIYs this week. We've got one of these ceramic candle holders, but I've stuffed it with hay, and there's some creepy worms sticking out. So we've got Woody the caterpillar and my homemade Woody the caterpillar. Everything that you've seen homemade in this shedding cage tour is most likely has a tutorial on my channel in my playlist DIY pets and items. They then have their hay rack, a natural chew toy, and their fiddlesticks bridge. Just at the end here they have their large Living World water bottle. On this shelf here I have changed it around and have my books and radio and a torch, and I also have this spooky light up ghost and the shed keys there. I've also put some Halloween lights, so they're purple, green and orange lights, and they're all the way long and I really like them, and I'll probably keep those up until Christmas, until I put the Christmassy lights up, or I might even just put the Christmas lights with the Halloween lights, because they're not necessarily Halloween lights, they're just the kind of Halloweeny colours. And then at the top we've got a pumpkin with some lights inside that as well. Above the shed I've put this bunting, and I really like it. It's like a, you probably can't see it very well, but it's a skeleton, but it's got this flowery design on it, and I really like this, and it goes all the way along. So hanging between the lights I've got a couple of skeletons and a pumpkin just there. I of course had to add this picture of the Hocus Pocus witches. It's going a little bit curly and I'm not sure why, but it's probably the warmth in here, but I had to add a picture in between the cages. We then have Dotty and Radish's cage, and this is actually the first video I think that has not got Bailey in. Bailey actually has been featuring in a lot of my videos regularly because they were pre-uploaded, scheduled and filmed since the beginning of August, and he'll still feature in some in November. So even though it's quite upsetting, I wasn't sure whether to do a whole shed tour actually, because I didn't know whether I could bear to film a cage tour without him, but this is Dotty and Radish's cage. So once they are all bonded, I'll obviously take this divider out and we'll have a whole long over 14-foot cage for the 5 of them. So on the front of their cage they've got this trick or treat sign, and these are gel clings again. They've got their red food dish and a hanging toy at the back there. We've got a soft pumpkin toy. This is actually a dog toy, but it's nice and soft and it's fine for them. They snuggle up to it and things like that. And we've also got this homemade toy, well, homemade-ish. I bought this pumpkin. It was a cat toy and I attached it onto this. They just like the bell and they tend to knock it around a lot. They also have this purple and red, a little lizard, red and green lizard. They also have this candy corn at the back. They then have their hay rack and their fiddlesticks bridge here, and of course their large Living World water bottle. On the shelves above their cage there is some plastic pigloos. We've got these type of pigloos here. I also have a green one that's in use outside at the moment, and I've got the little castle type ones in pink and purple up there, and I've added this little bat just there for decoration. And we've also got this hay roller just here. And on this shelf to the left of the other shelves, I've got this bat. I've got some of my other hay holders, so I've got a hay rack, a hay trolley and some hay rollers again, and this really nice pumpkin that also lights up. And we've got some pumpkin lights just at the back there, and there's my disinfectant. And the pen at the side there is just on Velcro, and that's for my whiteboard that I'll show you in a second. And again, I've got some plugs and solar lights there. And of course, here's another picture of the Hocus Pocus witches. This is probably my favourite picture of the three of them. I just think they're the most fabulous Halloween characters you can get, and I would love to dress up as them. If there were 2 more people that would be willing to do that for Halloween, I would definitely be up for it. But I just think they're amazing. We also have this candle tea light just on the edge of the cage where they can't reach. So onto the Duffy, Casper and Sooty's cage. We've got some more gel clings at the front here, but we've got an owl and a sign that says boo and a little ghost, and we've got a light up spider just here. We've got their corner food dish. Again, it's not pellet time yet, but it will be soon. They've also got a red jingly toy. It's not Halloween related, but they do really like this toy, and it's just a chew toy that I've put together. And at the back here we've got their Living World water bottle, a pumpkin candle holder again that's been stuffed with hay, and a homemade pumpkin hanging. Just here they have their hay rack, and at the back of their cage they have this large pig glue and an apple hanging toy. I feel like it's quite Halloween themed because you get toffee apples and things like that, so I thought I'd put that in the cage. And underneath their cage I just keep my rabbit hay holder and my Doctor Who hidey house, and then I've got a bag of hay just there. So going up from where their cage is, we've got this spider decoration, and it's a few years old now, so it's a bit crinkled and horrible, but I'll probably have to get a new one next year, but it still looks quite good. And we've got my whiteboard there. As you can see, I've been weighing Pippin every Wednesday. And just hanging from the roof, this is probably one of my favourite things this year. I've got these hanging decorations, and I think they're so fun. There's a ghost one here, and there is a bat one behind me that I'll show you in a second. And here is the bat one, and it just goes all the way to the ceiling. I think they're so much fun. And then I've got my initials for my channel, so Lubu Shedzu just on the wall here. Hanging up here I've got some cleaning products, so I've got my brush and my dustpans outside. I've got this scraper, and this is another type of brush that I use to scrape the cages. Then we got a little pumpkin man, and that's just my forage box up there. Down here we have my spare foldable metal run, and I put some spider lights on there. Just in the corner I've got my brush and a hay ball and a few locks and bolts and bottle brush and things like that. And here's another overview of the Hocus Pocus or Halloween themed guinea pig shed and cage tours. What I'll do now is I'll wait a few hours, and I'll come back when it's all nice and dark, and then you can see all of the decorations and all of the lights in the dark. So this is what the shed looks like with the lights down, and there's actually something in the shed that's a little bit of a clue that older subscribers will remember me using and doing with something. So I'm going to see if you can spot the little clue. So I'm not going to say anything, but I hope you can spot it. It's fairly obvious, but here's what the shed looks like, and don't these lights look so cool? I'm going to keep them up for a while definitely, because they're not particularly Halloween themed, but I think they look really cool. And we've got lights at the back. That's a little night light at the back corner there, and we've got these lights here. And I just love it. I just love Halloween so much, and this is making me really excited for Christmas because it looks quite spooky now, but soon it'll be all colourful, and oh, I can't wait. And I forgot to show you the projector, but this is what it does. It just projects these colourful pictures of Happy Halloween and pumpkins and cats, and I think that is so cool. And it was only £1, which is an extra bonus. Showing you before, and this is what it looks like in the dark, and I think that looks pretty cool too because you can only see its mouth, nose and eyes. So this is this month's Halloween themed shed and cage tours. I hope you've enjoyed this month. I've worked so hard on it. I've been planning this and making videos since August to get a DIY up every day and a cage tour up every week. I really hope you've enjoyed it. If you haven't seen them yet, I've done Doctor Who week, Pirates of the Caribbean, Hocus Pocus, and I also did Harry Potter, and all the DIYs match the theme and things like that. And I hope you've enjoyed it and like my shed and cage tour. I know it's not the most, probably not the best Halloween cage tour, but I really like it, and I've put it together the best I can with lots of DIYs and homemade things and cheaper alternatives rather than the expensive decorations. So I hope you've enjoyed it. If you've made a shed and cage tour this Halloween, please link it down below, and please let me know what you thought of my themed weeks and Hocus Pocus week and things like that. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to like, thumbs up and comment, and I'll see you next time. Bye everyone.